colleagues and co-workers. To support colleagues and co-workers in the following: the end of ethics to strive to ensure the end is upheld and to not retaliate against the individual reporting their violations. Thank you.
Now, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to our generous sponsors, IEEE Industrial Application Society, IEEE Computer Society, EMC Test and Training Center, MetaSage Alliance, IEEE Society of Social Application Technology Society, IEEE Professional Communication Society, IEEE Communication Society, IEEE Madras Young Professionals, IEEE Madras Women in Engineering, IEEE Madras SSIT, IEEE Madras Education Society, and IEEE Control System Society.
We also thank our partners, iExplore Foundations, MakerGuard, IEEE Tunisia Sections, Tunis Science City, University of Espax, NCAT, and IEEE Collaborator. As we embark using this extraordinary journey, let us embrace the spirit of collaborations and innovation that has been the hallmark of IEEE for even over a century. Together, we will forge a new pathways in engineering, education, and shape the future of our field.
Now, to officially welcome us all, we have with us Chair of IEEE Tunisia section, Mr. Habib Kamal. We would like to invite Habib to deliver the welcome address. Please, sir.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Sabah khair. Welcome to Tunisia. It's really a pleasure to be here with you these 2 days to enjoy technology and innovations developed by young engineers and scientists. So welcome to Tunisia. I wish you all the best for this challenge. It's really a great honor to host the final challenge in Tunisia and to welcome teams from several countries on the world. So special thanks to the organizing team, as well the steering committee and the executive committee, and chaired by my colleague Ramadatha. And all the speakers invited, colleagues, you are welcome, and hope you enjoy the challenge. Of course, we took this as opportunity to network, to develop new projects for the future, and I'm sure that these 2 days will be very important to develop future projects. Thanks as well for the organizing team, local organizing team from Tunisia section, from the Inauguration student branch, and all the student branches in Tunisia that are so active to host such great events. Thank you, and enjoy your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Habib, for your thought-provoking address. Your words have set the tone for the fantastic event.
Next, it's my immense pleasure to welcome Dr. Ramalata Marimudu, General Chair of IEEE YESIST12, to share a few words about IEEE YESIST12. Let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Ramalata Marimudu.
A very good morning. It's a great pleasure to be here today morning to welcome you all to this collaborative event of TechX and IEEE YESIST12. I'm the General Chair of IEEE YESIST12, and we have here Noor El-Hawda Tekni, who is organizing the TechX with the IEEE Unicate student branch. So this collaborative event has marked a milestone in the history of IEEE YESIST12, I will tell you. This is the 9th edition of IEEE YESIST12. We started it in 2016 and we have been going from country to country to host this challenge, international challenge, connecting countries, outreaching and bringing up social innovations for the challenges that we find in everyday life. The whole YESIST12 is based on bringing out a better quality of life for anyone and everyone based on the Sustainable Development Goals. And we understand the meaning of the Sustainable Development Goals, and we also want everyone, especially the younger generation, to understand the meaning of it. Once we understand it, of course it is going to be you who will be teaching your elders. So that's why we catch you and we try to bring awareness about the Sustainable Development Goals and at the same time show you a path for your career enhancement. By doing this, if I read, I don't remember anything. If I hear something, I'll remember something. But if I do something, I remember the whole thing. This is true for everyone. And that is the reason that practice-based learning has become a very important part of the education right now. Though the universities, the governments, everyone is insisting on making rather than just reading or studying, it has still not reached the realms of education everywhere. So this YESIST12 was started in 2016 just for the purpose of bringing out the social responsibility in the minds of the children. In addition to that, we also wanted to bring a meaningful outcome out of this event. So all the projects are based on the Sustainable Development Goals or the theme related to it. We have right now 5 tracks of competition, 1 track of training. Each one is unique. The Innovation Challenge looks for innovation, though it might not be bringing out a complete solution, it will be an innovation. We have Maker Fair, which interests the people who want to tinker, who want to do something. And it can be an existing solution to an existing problem. They just have to improve it till they have a working model and they have a marketable model. We have V-Power, which is supported by the World Bank, because they are interested in bringing more women into the power and energy sector. And it is a track where we encourage more women to participate. So the rule itself says that at least 1 girl should be there in the team of V-Power. We have Junior Einstein, which is a special one because it caters to the young children below university, pre-university levels. And that was because we are all inspired by the school children. The school children have so much of innovative ideas. More than that, they have passion in their mind. And they are go-getters. They want to fight and win. So that passion we want to dedicate to this cause of social innovation, and we created that. And one more track called Special Track is based on the trending social causes, challenges, and also the trending technologies. Anybody who has created something out of it can become a part of the Special Track. All these need a culmination of marketing of their product bringing up entrepreneurship in the children, and maybe some possibility of bringing out their own business. Maybe they will become job givers rather than the job seekers. So based on that, we have introduced one more track called IEEE. This is mostly a training track where we connect the industry mentors to the specific projects. The mentor should be interested, mentee should be interested. We connect them. So this mapping happens only if the passion is intact, only if the industry thinks it will be marketable, it can be developed. So I request all the children today to think about this line of career rather than just thinking about a career, going to a job and finally settling down for money. Don't do that. Kindly think about enjoying your career, being happy in what you are doing, and that comes out only if you are doing it for yourself rather than other people. That is an important aspect. Don't ever think that going and working for someone is your life. No, it is not. You need to be happy about it. You can serve for some time for others, but some period in your life you need to think about yourself. Go to the next one. Yeah, these are the impacts we have created. These are all entrepreneurs. Every year, at least one or two, I have not shown everything, at least one or two people become a full-fledged entrepreneurs, and we have helped them, incubating them, connecting them with the industry mentors, even funding their models. This year also we have two incubation partners, MakerGuard and Immunity, who will be selecting the projects. They have already selected, of course, and they are funding the project right now. They will help them incubate it to the end, and finally they will try to make them as a full business entrepreneurs. Next one. Yeah, this is the whole context of the countries that we have touched till now, and I am proud to say that Tunisia marks an important milestone, because till last year we didn't have a pilot in Tunisia, but this year we have a pilot, we have the host, and I would like to thank the Tunisia section, Dr. Habib and his team, for coming forward to take this job. I know it is a one-year work. There will be a lot of meetings, lot of doings, all those things. It's not very easy, but I would like to thank Dr. Habib and his team for taking this formidable job and helping us through. And I would like to thank Noor, who is the architect of TechX, which is funded by IEEE Computer Society. Eric Berkowitz is here. All of them are passionate about YESIST12, TechX, you name it. The name may be different, but the goal is the same. They want the children to do and learn. And Noor and her team have been invaluable in bringing up this conclusive event, the implementation of it. I would like to thank the Science City for giving us permission to host it here, because we feel that it is very, very prestigious for IEEE YESIST12 to be hosted in such a prestigious institution of science exhibition, which is very relevant to the theme of our YESIST12. I would like to thank our partners, of course. Of course, we have here IEEE IAS, Industry Application Society, who have been generous partners every year. Andrew Knight is here. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank Dr. Lenin Raja, who has been with me every step of the way. Though he is a partner and a sponsor, he doesn't behave like a partner. He behaves like a committee. And he does everything. Even if anyone makes mistakes, he immediately corrects it. Goes down to the ground level and does it. So without all these people, this would not have been possible. And I have my wonderful team with whom I have been working. I've been harsh on them. I've been helping them. But it's really a momentous moment for me to be here thanking every one of you, all my track chairs, committee chairs, and my speakers, Nehat. Without you, Tunisia would not have been connected. You were the connecting point. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tazeen. You just jumped up. As soon as I called you, please be here. And thank you for being here. And I thank every one of you, all the mentors who have come here all the way from India and other countries, all the students, participants. There are no words to thank every one of you, the pilots, the hosts, all of you. Thank you so much.
Now again, we would like to invite Dr. Ramlata Manimuthu, Chair of General YESIST12, to release the magazine for the media. We request other dignitaries to join us for the same. Folks, please put your hands in appreciating for releasing the YESIST12 2024 magazine. So this magazine will set the benchmark of YESIST12 2024. With this initiative, truly YESIST12 will create the visibility across the group. So I request the dignitaries to show off the magazine to the participants for the group pic. Thank you everyone. So as we mentioned, this magazine will set the benchmark, Sparks and Stars YESIST12 Skylines, and this will truly create the visibility across the group.
Now, I would like to welcome Noor El Hawda Tekini, Chair IEEE YESIST12 to speak about IEEE YESIST12 and the event. Please join us in welcoming Noor.
Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum. I'm so honored to stand before you today as the chairwoman of the IEEE Computer Society in Ecuador Student Branch Chapter. I want to express how incredibly proud I am of the work, of the amazing work for our team, especially after the successful edition of our magazine too with Spectrum, and as well as the outstanding events we organized throughout the year. We have actually received the Outstanding Student Branch Chapter Award for April in Area 6, Region 8. As the media coordinator of the IEEE CSSYP TechX, I want to give special thanks to outstanding efforts of all the hostess. TechX is a comprehensive program aimed at fostering leadership and enhancing engagement of future tech leaders. We currently have hostess in various regions, and in Region 8, we are proud to announce 5 TechX hostess, with TechX and Ecuador being one of them. As the General Chair of TechX and Ecuador, I want to wish you all the best of luck in the competitive programming competition. Have fun, enjoy your time, and please, if you have any inquiries, don't hesitate to ask us. Welcome everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Noor, for your compelling and insightful address. Now, for the much anticipated inaugural address, we welcome Mr. Deepak Mathur, Vice President of IEEE MGA, joined with us through online. His words will surely inspire us to embark in this journey and innovations of technology. Let us now extend warm welcome to Deepak Mathur, Vice President of IEEE MGA.
Now, with great pleasure, I would like to invite our distinguished guest, Andrew Knight, President of IEEE Industrial Application Society, to share his insight with us today. Please, sir.
Thank you. I just want to say a few quick words, and I'll be speaking a little bit longer later on. I want to particularly thank Dr. Ramalapu and Dr. Habib for inviting me here. I'm excited to see really what everybody here is doing. I'm interested to see the presentations, see all the innovations coming from the students that are here. It's people here that are making it important, not those sitting up on the stage, really. Yeah, I'm excited to be in Tunisia and to see all the activity in Tunisia. One of the things we hear all the time is just the amazing enthusiasm and the activity that's in Tunisia section and all the Tunisia student branches and within Industry Application Society or our Industry Applications student branches. So I'm very happy to be here, really happy to see so many people in the room and excited to see what we get to see for the next 2 days. And I'll talk to you all a little bit more later on about IEEE. Thanks.
Thank you, sir, for that enlightening and thought-provoking speech. And moving on to the next segment, we are delighted to have our esteemed guest, Eric Berkowitz, Director of Membership, IEEE Computer Science. Please welcome, sir.
Good morning. It's great to be back in Tunisia. I remember my first trip there last year to the TSYP event in Hammamet. I still remember the tagline. It's something around Silicon Valley is not a location, it's a mindset. So I look forward to interacting with everybody and seeing where you see the future of technology taking you. I am with the Computer Society, but I do represent IEEE. A couple of our strategic objectives, one of the reasons that we support this event so much is that students and young professionals and diversity and inclusion. And when I talk about diversity and inclusion, it's not just gender, it's really trying to engage more people in underrepresented groups. Tunisia is not one of the fastest growing areas that we have. That's why we're here. I am really excited to see this partnership between the TechX team. The TechX was a program coming out of the Computer Science Student Young Professional Group. So they're excited to be hosting this. We're hosting 5 of them in Region 8, 2 of them in Tunisia this year. But I'm going to talk with you as well about the site in a little bit, but I just wanted to say I'm so excited to be back. I look forward to interacting with everybody and looking for a great meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, for sharing an engaging and insightful thought to us. Next, it's an honor to introduce our highly esteemed guest, Dr. Lenin Raja, Director, AMC whose contribution to engineering and IEEE is extremely grateful. Please welcome Dr. Lenin Raja to share a few words with us. Please, sir.
Good morning. So I'm Veron to Bowling, respected dignitaries on the desk, and my fellow friends and dear brothers and sisters. So this is one of my closest target program is IEEE. Why? Because here we have the different segments from your idea. It means either the idea may possible or may not possible, but you get some innovative ideas. So we have that program, and if your idea is good, you can consider it as a project. So we have the separate track on it. If your project is good, it is wanted to become a product, means go to the market. So we got the special track on it. So from your idea, either this idea is possible or not possible, whatever it may be, but you have the idea, the innovative idea. From that innovative idea to the end product of market, so this is what we do in SST12. So first of all, I'm really happy and means I want to give my extreme thanks from my bottom of my heart to means Tunisia section as well as in the student committee from your greetings from the airport, and I really love means of course Eric has accepted me there. Means we love this meditation street food. So one of the very good food, delicious food I had yesterday. So and the beautiful city, beautiful people, and the beautiful areas. I saw a lot of new projects in the list. So I hope so. It's going to be beneficial for both of us. I can get some good ideas from you people, good project from you people, good product from good people. I know that I want to make it money from out of that, but I need some ideas from the main minds. So I hope so. I'll be get from in this beautiful 2 days program. So I wish each and everyone to successful in this SST12 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. Your words have lasting impact, and we are grateful about your volunteering and leadership. Before we move forward, let me introduce the various tracks and committees that makes IEEE YESIST12 2024 possible. Our dedicated teams have worked hard to make this event a success. Let's take a moment to recognize their contribution.
Dr. Ramanatha Marimutu, General Chair of IEEE YESIST12.
Akshaya S, Secretary of IEEE YESIST12.
Arangan Rishikesh, Tirupati, Secretary.
Dr. Gunjan Varshini, Chair of IEEE Innovation Challenge Track.
Mr. Arun M, Chair of Innovation Challenge, Mega Fair Track.
So, request tracks and committee chairs to join us on the stage. Avanida Krishnan, Chair of Rural Mainstream Track.
Dr. Harivardhavini, Chair of Record Track.
Indumati Ji, Chair of Special Track.
Mitresh Ji, who joined us in online, Chair of IEH Track. Ashwan B, Chair IT Operations Committee.
Nandita K, Chair of Content Committee.
Dr. Sangeeta Singh, Design Committee.
Abdul Halik, Chair of Publicity Committee.
Rushali Takar, Chair of Sponsorship Committee.
Srikanth, Chair of Alumni Committee in the Accenture.
Dr. Jityani Sharma, Chair of App Committee, who has joined us online. Ahmed, Chair of Host Committee, to join us on the stage. Thank you everyone for your tireless support and dedication towards the event.
Yeah, so due to the technical issues, Dr. Deepak Mathur sir was not able to join, but he conveyed our sincere gratitude towards the SS12 to the grand success. Now we will move forward to the further keynote segments. I would like to hand over the stage to Dr. Sangeeta Singh.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce our first keynote speaker, Professor Andrew Knight. Presently, he is serving as the President of IEEE Industry Application Society. He has been member of the Executive Board of IAS since 2016 as member at large and then Publication Department Chair. He is steering committee member of IEEE JESTPE and IEEE Electrification Magazine. He has been serving as steering committee chair for both IEEE ECCE and IEEE IEMDC conferences, being held at multiple roles in ECCE, including General Chair in 2017, General Chair, Co-Chair in 2015. He has also served as executive of the IAS Electric Machines Committee from 2012 to 2019 in roles of chair in 2016 and 2017. His research focuses on the efficient conversion, transportation and use of electrical energy. His research is on energy conversion, looks at efficient utilization and analysis and development of novel electrical machines and power electronic converters. We are honored to have Professor Andy Knight here. I request Professor to take over his session.
Thank you for the introduction. I'll just wait while we get the slides sorted out. Like was just said, my name is Andy Knight. I'm a professor at the University of Calgary, and I'm president of IEEE Industry Application Society. And what I want to talk about today is really a question I get a lot: is what is the Industry Application Society? We have lots of other IEEE societies with really clear names that tell you what they do. So Computer Society, computers. Power and Energy Society, power and energy. Industry Application Society gets a big question mark. Nobody really knows who we are and what we do. So some of what I want to talk about is who we are and what we do. And some of it relates to, it doesn't matter whether you align with IEEE or Industry Application Society, but really some of the things that we offer are things that I think are important to know about and learn about, and I think are important information for people starting their career in engineering as well. So there's some kind of extension from that as well. So if you go to the next slide. So this is IEEE. I can't see anything here, so I'm going to have to turn around a bit. But basically, we know IEEE is really there to develop technology and apply technologies for the benefit of humanity. We're looking at both technology itself and innovation. We've been around for, what are we now, 60-something years as IEEE, but merged from a couple of different other IEEE societies, or previous societies, the Institute of Radio Engineers and the American Institution of Electrical Engineers that predated IEEE. We can go to the next slide. One of the things that I still don't understand is just how complicated IEEE is. I'm a society president, you would think I would know by now. There are technical societies which report to a technical board. The geographical organizations like the Tunisia section, which reports to the members in the Geographic Association Board. And then we have lots of student branch chapters and local chapters of our technical society, and you end up reporting to both of us. So if you're in a student branch, you are a member of the Tunisia section and all the things that happen in the Tunisia section. And from IEEE's perspective, you kind of belong to them, but also you belong to us as part of our society as well. So chapters kind of fit in this strange space in between. Move on. The bigger picture of IEEE and where we all fit in, there's about, I think, still 39 societies, 8 councils, 10 regions, 400,000 people, 2,000 conferences, millions and millions of technical articles, and about 1,200 standards. So it's hard to see where do you fit into all of this, because when any of us look at this, it's just a huge organization. So I'm going to talk about where IAS fits into this, because it's just too much to think about otherwise. Move on. Just talking about regions, obviously we're in region 8 right now. The only reason I'm putting this slide up is I'm going to talk a little bit about our membership as a society, and where our members are, and how we're trying to reach out to different members. I think most people know that in a couple of years, region 10 will split into 2 halves, and already I know region 8 has split into 2 different zones, and Dr. Habib is director of one of those zones now. If we move on to the next slide, that's the split of what's going to happen. So region 8 already has an Africa zone and a Europe and Middle East zone. In 2027, the 2 zones in region 10 will split and become region 10 and region 11 as we move forward. So this is about IAS. This still doesn't really tell you what we do, but it gives you a bit of an idea of why we're not a easily definable society. So our vision statement is we'll be a world leader in the advancement of science and technology, linking theory and practice in the application of electrical and electronic systems for the benefit of humanity, which is not really that much different from the definition of what all of IEEE does when you really look at it. Our mission statement narrows it down a little bit more. It's enablement of theory and practice in design, development, manufacturing, and application of safe, sustainable, reliable, smart electrical systems, equipment, and services. So our real positioning is we are focused on trying to take what happens in universities and research labs on what are the needs of industry as they apply electrical systems. We're a little bit less on the electronic systems, but we have a whole division, department of our society that does look in that direction. But we're largely focused on application of electricity within industry and how it's used in different sectors of industry. And how do we then take what happens in research labs to industry, and how do we link those 2 things together? So there's a strong link with what's happening here this weekend, where you're trying to do work, and like Dr. Amlaka was saying, it's not about just coming up with an idea. It's how do you take an idea, how do you make it useful to industry, how do you make that into an innovation, how do you apply it, how do you do something with it. One of the criticisms we hear a lot from industry people when we look at IEEE is it's a bunch of academics writing papers and nobody reads the papers. We try to avoid that. Our goal is that what we're doing is linking and actually being applied and it's applicable. So that's why we have a strong tie-in here. If we move on to the next slide, our values, again, are a little bit more fuzzy, but they're kind of important to us. So the advancement of theory and practice of electrical and electronic engineering for the benefit of humanity. Promotion of safe, reliable, sustainable, and economical installations is really important. Every year in North America, we host the Electrical Safety Workshop. There's 700 to 1,000 people from industry turn up and share best practice on how to do electrical installations safely. And we have a lot of IEEE standards on electrical safety. And now we're moving into, I know we have going in a couple of weeks, the Electrical Safety Workshop that's in Region 9. Looking at expanding work there. We've done electrical safety workshops in India as well. So this idea of how do we take best practices of how to safely use electricity in industrial settings and in more broad settings. Sharing our knowledge in our domains is important. Creating standards is really important to us. And the last one, which is another reason to tie in here, is professional development of global membership. And the global part is really important to us as well. Next slide. So at a glance, the numbers always go up and down on this. So I said we're in the top 10 society membership. We're around about 6th or 7th biggest society. Computer society is bigger than anybody by a million miles, but we all know that and our nice friendly big brother over there. But we're one of the top 10 big societies. We have over 500 chapters and student branch chapters around the globe, which makes us one of the biggest IEEE societies in just the pure number of student branch chapters we have. I've lost count of how many we have in Tunisia. It seems like every 2 weeks I get another request for another student branch chapter in Tunisia. We have about 76 standards. We financially sponsor 8 different magazines and journals. We have 20 technical committees over a really broad range. And we support over 75, probably now over 80 conferences around the world each year. So I could probably spend each day of my life at an IEEE sponsored event somewhere else in the world, and I'm always in conflict because I can't go to one because we don't do that one. This is our society membership graph. It's got no numbers on this, but it's also illustrative of how IEEE works. At the end of January, if you don't pay your fees for the upcoming year, you get kicked off and you're no longer a member. But if you're still a member in January, you get a little bit of a thing. So one of the things we talk about with our student grants chapters is always trying to get new people to sign up for the year, and then they get to the end of the year and people don't renew, and then the numbers go down, and it's never ending treadmill of trying to keep members and keep them interested and keep them renewing with our membership. So one of the things I want to talk about is why I think it's important, even when you graduate from being a student, to keep being a member of an IEEE society, whether it's us or anybody else. If we go on to the next one. This is where our student members are. So on the left side is where our society membership is around the world. So regions 1 to 7 are North America, 1 to 6 is the US, 7 is Canada. So region 8 there is Europe, Middle East, and Africa. We have basically a quarter of our membership in region 8 and almost a third of our membership in region 10, which is why we spend a lot of time trying to engage with activities that happen in region 8 and region 10. And we had the region 8 SYP meeting a few weeks ago. I had a conflict, I was somewhere else. I was in India a couple of weeks ago. It's really important for us as a society to recognize that most of our membership isn't actually in North America. One of our initiatives that we're going to be doing for a long time, anybody who knows IAS will know that our annual meeting has been in the US for the last 20 years. Next year in 2025, our annual meeting will be in June in Taipei, Taiwan. And then in 2 years' time, it will be in region 8 somewhere. That's not yet been decided. I think it will probably be in Italy, but I don't actually know that. And then we're going to go through this process of 1 year we're in North America, 1 year we're in region 10, then we go back to North America, then we go to region 8, then we go back to North America to try and do that broader engagement. And if you look, the other graph up there shows taking out the students, so it's grad students and above. And so our numbers go down, we become about 50% North American when we look at high level numbers. So one of the things I really want to encourage is trying to get people who are student members outside North America to stay and become members once they graduate. So we get better representation there as well. Go to our next slide. This is one of the bits of data we get out of the many data things that we can get from IEEE. This is from probably January data, and which is our biggest chapters as a society around the world. And our biggest one in January was Kerala, and the second biggest one, I know you can't read the slides there, is Tunisia. So in Tunisia we have around about 1,200 society members. If I look at Africa, I think we have about 1,500 members in Africa, so 80% of our African membership as a society is here in Tunisia. So you guys do a fantastic job. We really need you to go and tell everybody else in Africa how you do it so they can also be as successful as you all are. We're interested to know what you're doing and how you guys all get to be so successful relative to other places. But you really are, and you should know, that you are really a beacon for everybody else to look at what they're doing. You're all doing a fantastic job. We have, within IAS, we have a strange organizational structure that's different from anything else in IEEE for historic reasons. But we don't have a lot of vice presidents like other societies do. We only have one vice president, and we organize everything through a series of departments. So we have 4 technical departments. I'll get into their names earlier, I know you can't read them up on the board. And we have, I think, 7 operating departments. And they do different things. Technical departments is where we host our technical content. Operating department is how we serve our membership and how we build the society. So a technical department, if I look across, I don't know how readable that is, from left to right, we have a process industries department, which is probably our most industrial, most applied area. So this is heavy industry, continuous processes that have to run all day, every day. It's typically, right now, the old industries, we're looking at how we support newer process industries. So this is things like the petrochemical industry, the paper manufacturing industry, the metal manufacturing industry, so the people who operate steel mills. There's also cement industry, there's the mining industry, and safety, which isn't an industry, but safety is kind of joined in there as well. Nihat is the chair of that whole committee, so he kind of understands it. So that department is really, almost everybody there is working in industry. There's a few academics who do work related to them. If I go to our petrochemical committee meeting, petroleum and chemical industry committee meeting, which is next week, I'll be there. There'll be somewhere close to 1,500 people there that are all from industry. There's almost no academics in the room. It's really practicing engineers, working out how to be practicing engineers, how to make their processes safer, better, more efficient. And we really want to support the people working in that space. As you walk across this slide from left to right, on that one. No, the one, next one's good. No, next one. Back to the one that had the lists. Next. No. Forward. One more. One more. That one. That's good. So on the left, we've got the most industry focused. The next one is industrial and commercial power systems. This is an area most people don't even realize Industry Applications Society does. Everybody thinks power and energy, and it's power and energy society. But almost everything that happens once you get to the meter in an industrial setting is covered under industry applications. So we have an energy systems committee, we have a power system engineering committee, a codes and standards committee, a power system protection, and even rural electric power systems, which are out in the countryside connecting places together that people would think would be power and energy society, all covered by Industry Applications Society instead. So the new area that we're looking at here is how do you do DC power supplies in buildings, how do you do DC in plant automation. If everything in your plant is already operating off a DC system with an inverter and a rectifier, why are you building AC power systems inside the factory? Those kind of things are things that we look at as well. Which then ties us to manufacturing. Our manufacturing systems department does industrial lighting, so how do you do LED lighting? Some of the world leaders in LED lighting systems are in Industry Applications Society. It's electrostatic processes, and then industrial automation and control, which ties into the Robotics and Automation Society. We kind of have an overlap there with them as well. And then we get to what is probably the most academic focus of all our areas, which is how do you design and build things that do energy conversion. So for industrial systems, so electric motors, industrial drives, industrial power converters, how to build power electronic devices and components, renewable energy systems, transportation systems, so the motor drive combinations that go into cars. We get GM and Ford coming to our meetings and talking about how that works. So we have, like I said, this weird amorphous society where we kind of overlap with power and energy. There's bits of us that will overlap with computer society because we're looking at AI as it applies to automation and control. We're looking at AI as it applies to fault detection and predictive maintenance in that applied industrial setting. We're not looking at it for the sake of it. It's in that process, how are people applying that technology in industrial processes, which is something we've always done as a society. We overlap with power electronics, we overlap with industrial electronics. Almost all the other societies have a fairly clean structure, and we have this blobby mess that nobody understands. So if you're working across a range of things, but you're really applied and focused on industry, we're probably the right home for you. Okay, if we move on. Our operating departments, like I said, is how we support you. So chapters and membership is our main one. That's how we support our local chapters. It's how we provide support to events like this. The support for YESIST was organized through our chapters and membership. It is outreach to support membership more than a technical content. We have our brand and communication. We have our standards. We have our publication, meetings, all the rest of it. So this is how we run ourselves. The other is what we do. If we move on. That's just pictures of people like me, so we'll forget that. Keep going. So what do we do? Next slide. As I mentioned a couple of these already, these are some of our major flagship conferences. With about 80 conferences a year, there's no way we can list them all. But we have, like it listed here, the Electrical Safety Workshop, Industrial Commercial Power Systems, Pulp and Paper, ECCE conference is one of our conferences. In India, we're financial support for CEFET and PEDES and PESGRI. Applied Power Electronics Conference, the International Transportation Electrification Conference. Those are all things that are drawn out of IAS, but don't have our name on it. Nobody really knows that they're things that we do. Our publications, we have 3 main publications. Our magazine and our transactions have been around forever. The Open Journal of Industry Applications were launched just a couple of years ago. This is the highest impact factor open access publication in all of IEEE, which is kind of strange when we have industry applications and such an industry focus. This just got its first impact factor. Its impact factor is up to 7.9. So it's about 3 times the impact factor of IEEE Access. It's higher than all of the other open journals in IEEE. It's something we're very proud of. A lot of work's gone into the editor-in-chief, does a fantastic job. Our other publications, we are co-sponsored and involved with things like emerging selected topics in power electronics. It's 50% ours. It doesn't just belong to the Power Electronics Society. We involved in sustainable energy, transportation electrification, electrification magazine, the Journal of Emerging Selected Topics in Industrial Electronics. There's a whole bunch of other things that we are involved in supporting, because if it has an industrial focus, we want to be involved and want to support it. One of the things we spend almost all our time talking about in our meetings is our humanitarian activity, and we've done quite a lot on an ad hoc basis over the years, and we're really trying to organize this into a better way of doing it right now. We're just going through some bylaw changes to appoint a person on our board whose job is to manage all that activity. So we have a lot of competitions each year through our chapter of the membership department. Some of the successful ones are here, like there was a project in Sri Lanka to do drones for delivery of medicines to prevent dengue. We've got other medical ones. There's support for different hospitals, irrigation processes. There's a power supply program there for supporting people in wheelchairs who need access to buildings that aren't typically built with access for disabled people. If we move on to the next slide. We've started to spend a lot of the time on that humanitarian activity now by collaborating with other bits by IEEE instead of just doing it ourselves. So if we go on one more, we've spent a lot of time the last few years supporting our IEEE Smart Village. Some of the projects here, these ones are all in Africa. The cold box storage project, I think, is in Democratic Republic of Congo. The basic idea is that we've partnered with an entrepreneurial activity, so we're not doing like, hey, give some money to something. It's like Dr. Arnauta was saying, it's important to do things through innovation and setting up companies. So this is working with a local farmers cooperative to help them put a solar panel system in with some battery storage so they can build cold storage and then sell that crops over a longer period instead of just a short period of time when the crops are ripe. So they get both a longer selling period with less wastage, but also they get a higher price because they're selling later into the season and they're not just selling at the peak of the season when all the crops are available. In Zambia, there's a couple of different projects. One is a solar kiosk, and it's all about just how to help people charge their cell phones. And the company there set up just a solar battery project, and then they charge people every time they sell a cell phone. So they have an ongoing sustainable business model, and IEEE's gone in and helped with the infrastructure. The other one in Zambia with gemstones is a collective for women that are polishing gemstones, and in that particular region, polishing gemstones has always been men's work, and now it's a specific collaborative set up to support women to do that as well, and so on. So if we move on to the next one, I think there's some more. If we look at, and we keep going, one of the things we've done just this last year is we've invested heavily in ethics and IEEE. Ethics and IEEE takes student volunteer groups or student clubs, kind of exactly the same as this, are involved in YESIST. But you have to partner with a non-profit NGO who's permanently in the location and come up with an idea that you're trying to solve, and the goal is that the NGO that exists in the location will continue and actually implement your solution, and it will last and will be there for at least 5 or 10 years. It's not, we had an idea and we did something and walked away. It's, we had an idea, we developed technology, we developed a solution, we handed it off to an NGO, the NGO implemented it and did it. So everybody that's got a YESIST type problem that's involved in this competition A lot of them could apply for help support from ethics. It's entirely focused on student clubs. You can't do it if you don't have students involved. Not everybody needs to be a student, but if you get a group of students with a solution idea, you can apply for ethics funding as long as you're part of an NGO. And ethics typically gives about $10,000 a project to implement the solution and make it actually work in practice. And so this year, if we move on, we did a bunch of advertising about how this works. Some of the things that are great about that, there are also things that are fantastic with YESIST. It's not just about whether you won the funding or you were successful, but in the process, keep moving forward one. Some of the things are, and even one more, I think. Part of the process of going for ethics funding, whether or not you got to be successful in ethics, is part of what's important about these whole processes is as you're doing this, you're writing pitches, you're doing presentations like people will be doing here this weekend, you're pitching your idea. Those are all things you need to do if you want to be a successful entrepreneur. So this comes back to how are we helping people develop their own industry. At IAS, we have a lot of solo-owned or SME companies. Mihad owns his own company. We have a lot of consultants. We actually are very heavily involved with small companies and people that are serving the local industry rather than just working with large industry. So if you think about your involvement in YESIST and what it would take to apply for an ethics proposal, you need to have a good idea, you need to be able to sell to somebody else why it's a good idea, you need to be able to write that up clearly, you need to be able to give a short pitch presentation and explain why it's a good idea and why other people should care and why other people should invest. And those are all great because you want to do in competition, but in reality that's how you need to do your job for the rest of your life. And so I think part of going through these processes, whether you win the funding, whether you actually get to be successful doing this, is not that relevant. The fact that you got to do it and you got better at it so then you can have a better career and better at it when you're doing it through your job is as valuable as just doing it through a student competition. So yeah, we spent about $100,000 supporting ethics competitions this year, and that's something that we'll continue to do over the next year. I think we had 11 successful projects this year, and everybody's been really happy with it, from how we do to how Epics is doing it. To us, the value of working with Epics is we have the whole IEEE staff organization making it work, where we used to do things on an ad hoc basis with volunteers, and then the volunteers change, we don't know what's happening, whereas now we have follow-through and people who are trained in validating processes who aren't doing it as a hobby on the side of their regular job, it's their job to do that process. If you go on to the next one, last one is, so why join us? I think it's access to all of those things. Go to the next slide. You get access to networking, conferences, access to people. On the next one, Mihad runs a mentoring workshop every year at our annual meeting. You get to meet people who are doing the things that you want to do next. If we move on, everybody really likes our magazine. It's nice. I talk to other magazine editors, and they're all like how well our magazine is put together. It really serves our practitioners. It's not there to serve academics. It's for people working in industry. We have mentoring tools. Mihad does an article in our magazine about how to get to where you're going. He interviews people who've been successful and says what was their path to get there. And moving along, next one. Like most IEEE societies, we have a resource center. We put our webinars there, our tutorials there. Something that we've developed in the last year or so is something we've been calling like IEEE University. We're doing full 13-week, 3-hours-a-week courses on topics that are either things that have been developed since practicing engineers were in university, so they don't have any training in it, or they're things that you are fairly specialized and you might not have access to that training everywhere in the world. So I think we've got one coming up in fall for people who need to work in power systems about how to do real-time power simulation. And RTDS is going to run that if you're an IEEE member. I think for student members, our rate is down to $50 for a 12-week university course, which in the whole scheme of things is pretty good value. For practicing members who are out in the industry, it's not high value, but it's still not that expensive. Our goal is to be able to teach people things they need to know, not to make money off running courses. We did our first couple last year and been very successful, and it's something we're continuing to do. And again, those things are run through our resource center. Next slide. Again, those are just examples of what's in the resource center. We move on. Volunteering opportunities. we always need more volunteers. There's always things to do, things to say that you did, so you can put it on your resume to get experience acting, interacting with people, and also giving back to the community. I think as you get more senior, it's more important to give back to the community that you're in. And so how to become a member? Right now, I don't think it's working. We're just in that magic window of 2024 sign up to finish in 2025 sign up to starting. So I'd probably say don't try and become a member in the next week or two. Wait a couple of weeks to try and become a member. But if you go on, there's a link on our website of how to join us. And on the next slide, yeah, one more. Keep going. The pricing's wrong, but we just cut our pricing, which is one of the reasons why some of the stuff's not working out. So if you join now for next year, this is part of going out and talking to people. This was talking to people in India last year about the pricing. So two things that are new for this year. Our membership rate for full members has dropped from $20 to $10. Our membership rate for students has dropped from $10 to $1. If you aren't a member, you can use the code IEEE and you get your first year free. If you wait a couple of weeks to join for 2025, then you get them 2024 for free, which is why I'm saying don't try to be joining up at the end of 2024 because you'll only get a couple of months for free. Wait a couple of weeks and join for 2025 and get the rest of this year and all of next year for free as well. But also the new rates are involved. And like I said, we joined the UN, the IEEE UN Developing Nations program. So there's an additional 50% discount from our posted rates as well. So it's all on that, but I finished now. Thanks.
On behalf of organizing committee, I would like to extend thanks to Professor Andy for taking out such an extremely nice session, and he has given insights on the Industry Application Society and the activities, the various activities which the IAS is involved in. So we thank Professor Andy for taking out time and helping us and coming all over here and taking out the session. Thank you, sir. Now, moving forward, we have Mr. Deepak Mathur sir, Vice President IEEE MGA, who has joined online. I request Deepak Mathur sir to share few words about YESIST12. On behalf of organizing committee, I would like to extend thanks to Professor Andy for taking out such an extremely nice session, and he has given insights on the Industry Application Society and the activities, the various activities.
So thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'm really, really sorry that I'm not there in person. So I tried, but somehow it was destined to for me to be virtually present before you, and I thank the encouragement for YESIST12, and I would also like to thank Habib for all the support which he provided to me to join this in person. I'm really happy that this is happening in Tunisia, and Tunisian section is one of the very active and with the highest growth rate, and all you are present there. They will be having an opportunity to learn from the YPs and students from Tunisian section. I have been to the Tunisia section on two separate occasions, and I have seen the way their YPs and students, they work together in their dedicated, passionate volunteer, as well as they run so many good programs. So it's a good learning opportunity to be in Tunisia section. I would like to take this platform today to share with you some of my thoughts, and how those thoughts are going to be aligned with IEEE. And I always say that in life, the most important thing is the direction. And many times we want to run fast, but we forget whether the direction is right or not. So if you are going in the right direction, then the speed does not matter much, and then you will really reach to the goal. And when I say direction is important, if you are a technical professional, if you are a technical student, IEEE provides you a lot of direction. IEEE has got 39 technical societies, and it has got technical councils, and that will really provide you direction where you want to go. And there is a need to bring correction in your direction from time to time, or there are chances you may be redefining your goal, but that is perfectly all right. But you have to be aware of where you are going and what is the purpose. So the IEEE provides you a good technical know-how, professional know-how, and leadership opportunity to determine your direction for your professional and career advancement. The second thing is, which is very important, is learning. And it is said that, and Alvin Toffler in its book Future Shock has told that the illiterate of 21st centuries are not those who cannot read and write, but are those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So be mindful of that. You are learning, but tomorrow it may not be, it may be obsolete, and then you have to unlearn that learning and relearn again. And in this process, IEEE is going to help you a lot. It has got a lot of resources, and I'm sure you might be aware of many, but at the same time, I have come across that many of the members and non-members, they are not aware of full resources, how those resources can be used for one's professional, technical, and career advancement. So learning, unlearning, and relearning is going to be part of your life, and take IEEE, use IEEE for that. The YESIST12 is an excellent example. I always say that is of creating opportunity, and I really appreciate Dr. Ramlata and his team, that they have created this opportunity for engaging members and developing volunteers. So you can use IEEE platform, and you can always create opportunities for your engagement, for your development. So we are limited only by our imagination. So you just come across, just think over that, what kind of program you want for your success, what kind of activity you want for your professional growth, and come across with and develop a program and run that program. And you just see how successful YESIST is, and it has become almost a global program. It has come out from the Asia Pacific, and it has gone to the Africa, Middle East, and it is expand to all over the world. So create your own opportunity. That is another message I would like to share with you. And when we talk about innovation, So innovation is very good. Just showcasing innovation and just showcasing our idea is not going to serve the purpose. We have to see that how our innovative idea, how our innovation is going to serve the community. And again, here IEEE is going to help you. IEEE societies and IEEE programs will help you then how to transform or how to convert your ideas or innovation into community-based project so that you really serve the humanity. You just learn so that how this IEEE Smart Village, how the idea has converted into a technical program. It's a business model. Can you unmute, please? Yeah. So how you have how the IEEE Smart Village is helping so many, and this is a real way to help underserved using the technology. So just think that your ideas, innovation can be converted into a community-based project, and they really serve the underserved people. So with this, I would just like to thank you all for being participant in this particular very good program, and I'm sure we are going to enjoy it. There should be a good takeaway. And I always say that you have to decide your own takeaway from any program. If a program is not giving you any takeaway, if it is not providing you any development, then I don't think that coming to a program and attending will be any good idea. So just be mindful, and I know that there are so many experts available. I know that there are so many senior volunteers are available, and you try to interact with that, network with them, and try to come out with and try to learn that how try to get mentoring from them, that how your future can be shaped. With these words, I would just like to thank you again, and especially I would like to thank Dr. Ramlata for bringing this program to this level. This is not an easy task, and I know that she has been also supported by so many very good volunteers, and they are also joining this thing. So with this, thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Mr. Deepak, for all the information that you gave us today. We were very happy to have you with us and wish to have you with us another time in person in Tunisia. Thank you so much.
So I do not know whether my thoughts reach to you or not.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Now we will move forward to our next keynote. For this keynote, I would like first to present our speaker and all his contribution to his society and IEEE. So Mr. Eric Berkowitz, he's an IEEE Computer Society Director. To tell you a little about him, he is a seasoned membership marketing executive, leader and strategist. He is an expert in member recruitment, retention, and engagement. He has also developed and executed strategic marketing plans and programs to build awareness of the organizational activities and increase revenue. He has direct experience with building integrated direct marketing campaigns that include direct mails, telemarketing, email, advertising, social media for both acquisition of members and their retention. He is also an experienced membership marketing professional that has demonstrated versatility across a range of marketing specialties. Let's please welcome Mr. Eric Berkowitz to the stage.
office. I'm the director of membership. Also oversee education with the Computer Society. I'm going to have to preface this, but IEEE, when you come to these things and you hear multiple people talk about IEEE, following Andrew, following Deepak, a lot of what we're going to talk about is sort of redundant, so I'm going to have to go through it a little bit on the quicker side, but trying to add my own little flavor to it. So as I said earlier, some of the primary focuses for the Computer Society are on engaging more students and early career members and focusing on diversity and inclusion. This past year, Hironori Wasasaki, who's our incoming president, has initiated what he's calling CS Juniors. So that is going to be a K-12 initiative where we're going in there and trying to teach them a little bit more about technology, the use of technology, the safe use of technology, and things of that nature. That's why with this program and the Junior Einstein, I really see more collaboration probably there in the future. And then early career members starting their journey. The more people that we get in and so on to help us expand our footprint. Next slide. So one of the areas that we've been focused on, especially in student and young professionals, is our volunteer footprint. As you know, IEEE, the Computer Societies are volunteer member driven. As you can see from this slide, back in 2019, our primary footprint was in India. All of our activities were mostly over there, with programs like the Computer Society Indian Symposium, the All India Computer Society Student Young Professional Congress, and Compute Magazine. Compute is still in existence, but it's gone a little bit more global. Next slide. So as you can see, our volunteer distribution in 2024 has really expanded. Some of the other programs we've initiated over these past several years, took probably 2 years to get going, is the TechX program. So we have TechX, we have scholarship outreach, a global congress now which has been held. We tried to do it jointly with TSYP a few years ago, so it was in Tunisia, in Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and this year it'll be in Brazil. We're having a Region 8 Congress for the first time this year, October in Cairo. We're starting Asia Pacific Micro Summits and an Africa initiative to try and build awareness of IEEE, its society, and its benefits in really underrepresented areas. Micro-mentoring workshops. A climate sustainability space for our YPs to engage in. Where they've been really active is going into our technical conferences and putting on events. They're doing a Gen AI and sustainability event at Cluster in Japan in a few weeks, for example. Compute Magazine. Something that the students and YPs might be interested in here is a program that we're calling Rooftop Socials. It's just funding for you to get together and do an activity that is engaging, non-technical, to get your chapter members and other participants just to come together to learn, network, and share. With high-impact zone events, which are going to be a combination of this micro summits, the Africa initiative, where we're going to be going into really underrepresented areas to try and give people an opportunity to learn about what IEEE is doing, but also teach them something at the same time. Next slide. So, as you said, you are the future of IEEE. Our members dedicate their time, they give themselves, they write our publications, they do our conferences, they serve on all of our boards. I think at this level, one of the things that our students and young professionals don't really realize is some of the transferable skills that you get from volunteering. One of the, I see it as a great opportunities for students to be able to get up and speak. IEEE can really be viewed as a safe place to really hone your skills, your networking skills, your presentation skills, writing, research, and whatever have you. There's a huge support network here for you. Next slide. This is sort of where it starts getting redundant from Andrew's talk. IEEE really is just a really complex, organization. You have IEEE at the top, you have your regions are broken up into your sections, and across from IEEE and your other silos, you have your societies. Tunisia, for example, is one of 40 sections in Region 8. Next slide. So you have the Computer Society. Next slide. So we're 39 societies and councils. We'll talk about this in a second. Next slide. Next slide. So professional chapters. What do we have? One professional section chapter in Tunisia. Next slide. Student chat, I didn't realize it was transitioning. I thought it was going to be all at once. So student branches. 23 student branches in Tunisia right now. There was only 9 back in 2021. Next slide. Technical councils, next slide. Next slide. Okay. So I'll go back to the membership for just 1 second, just to talk about the exponential growth in Tunisia. 2021, 9 student branch chapters, 196 members. That's what Tunisia looked like in 2021. Currently, and the numbers probably dated because I did this presentation, updated these slides about 2.5 months ago, 2,100 CS members and 23 student branch chapters. So in a period of 3 years, that's a 94% increase in membership. So it's really no wonder why IEEE, the Computer Society, is so heavily involved in this area. Next slide. Well, yeah, so all of that confusion, all of that organizational cluster is just an opportunity for you to get connected with others in your field. I know you're going to run into people here that you will probably, hopefully, keep in touch with that you currently don't know. That's the value of IEEE. That's the value of the IEEE network. Make sure you connect with them and engage with them. We're going to give you opportunities to get recognized for your work and get ahead. Hopefully giving you the skills and knowledge you need to excel in both in your personal and professional lives. I will say, I think, from a student and an early career professional, always set your sights high. There is absolutely no reason to not be at the front of the line, to take advantage of the opportunities that are available. Not okay, you don't have to be first, you don't necessarily have to be second. But you definitely don't want to be last to the table. When you're last to the table, the opportunity to get involved in the program, product, or service that you want to get involved with is going to probably already be taken. Next slide. So there you have your 3 simple rules. If you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you do not ask, the answer will always be no. And if you do not step forward, you'll always be in the same place. You go back to the idea of opportunities, the idea of all of the different technical societies that IEEE is made up of. I think one of the greatest advantages that anyone can have is the ability to talk about other areas that they're not a specialty in. I am involved in membership marketing, education, certification, but I can still talk about conferences in my role. Who know 802.11? I would never know that, but I'm part of IEEE, obviously I do. So it's like Newton's law. There's a correlation between Newton's law and your professional journey. If you don't like where you are, you can make a change. An object that's in motion always stays in motion. As a professional, as a working professional, as a student, the same holds true for you. Roadblocks are going to present themselves, aim high, overcome them, and move on. IEEE provides all of these opportunities for you. Next slide. You heard about the magazines, just like IAS. We have a number of magazines and journals to help fill that technology gap. I think the journal impact factors just came out. The CS has 12 high impact factors within the IEEE portfolio, with, I do believe, the TPAMI, the transactions and machine intelligence and pattern recognition, or pattern intelligence, with the second highest impact factor of all IEEE publications. As a student, as a member, everyone has access to computer. Professional members, all of these are in our digital library. As a professional or any member, you all have access to computer. From the digital library standpoint, professional members all have 18 downloads, and students, it's included with your membership. So IEEE plus the Computer Society gives you access to all of our technical content. Next slide. Our technical communities are what drive our conferences and publications. if there's an area of focus and you're having a conference and you want support, these are the communities that are putting them on. High performance computing, for example, puts on supercomputing, pattern analysis, and machine intelligence puts on the computer vision and pattern recognition conference, and WACP, two of our highest, fastest growing events that we are currently putting on. Next slide. 225 professional technical conferences a year, just like IAS. They're broad and they're deep. They're around the world. We don't currently have anything going on in this area, but we do have them worldwide. Next slide. Getting recognized for your hard work. Next slide. So a lot of what our students are really interested in are our scholarship and outreach programs. We have 3 student awards. The Lance Stafford Writing Best Paper Award, the UPE Honor Society Award, and the Richard E. Merwin Student Scholarship. Between all of these, we do about $50,000 US between all of our scholarships, with the most popular being the Richard E. Merwin. I'll go into each one of those. Next slide. So the Lance Stafford was established with a Larson family who was a past IEEE president who lost their son. It's been expanded to both non-members and non-members, both at the undergraduate and graduate level, with a $500 award, a 1 or 2 year membership, and access to the digital library. We could probably get about 75 submissions paper-wise for the Lance Stafford each year. Next slide. The UPE Honor Society, recognizing students that have show academic promise. They do 4 $1,000 awards each year. It's done in partnership with the UPE. Academic achievement, extracurricular activities, and a letter of recommendation. And then we have the Richard E. Merwin. Next slide. So this was created in honor of the late Richard E. Merwin, who's the Computer Society president. There's actually a Richard E. Merwin Outstanding Achievement Award, which is our highest level of volunteer award that we give out. It typically goes to the IEEE or Computer Society president or an active volunteer with extremely long tenure. But for the purpose of the Richard E. Merwin Student Scholarship, it's really designed to recognize and reward students that show academic promise and are actively involved in their student branches. We do $40,000 a year. It's a very popular award. Next slide. They do because it's so popular. We have to do it in 2 cycles, with one of them coming up at the end of the year. They are looking at expanding it, increasing the value of it. $1,000 is a lot to some of the areas that are applying for it. It's probably not that much to some of the other areas. I would think that, well, I don't think, I know that probably 98% are going to students in India, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. But we really are trying to expand that outside. We do have some in the African Region 8 that have David Jonathan Samana, who is the chair of the TechX program this year. Came out of being a student member last year. He actually is the winner of it. It really is a popular award. We get well over 500 applications a year, probably 250 in each cycle. Next slide. Something of interest to our early career members is our 20 in our 20s program, actually expanding it to 30 in their 30s. 30 top, computing's top 30 under 30. So going out to early career members, last year it was a $1,500 travel grant and a complimentary registration to a CS conference. We did find that the travel grant was very popular. Our members, whether or not they were interested in the computing topic, were going to conferences in areas that were of interest to them. We have a whole slew of our members going to cluster in Tokyo. It's not even an IEEE related event, but we're going to a group of our climate sustainability team is going to the G20 summit in Brazil, where we're having a TechX event. So they're going to the TechX event, participating in that, but they're also able to attend the G20 summit. So we're expanding it, and this year it's going to be opening up shortly. It's going to be the top 30. It's going to be more based off of your industry or your academic accomplishments. But again, you have to have been graduated. It's not available to undergraduate students. The awards being increased to $2,500. It's really just going to be a travel grant to pretty much anywhere you want to go. Doesn't necessarily have to be an IEEE or an IEEE Computer Society sponsored event. So watch out for that. Next slide. One of the areas that we're trying to really increase our footprint is with our member-generated content. As I said earlier, members are the lifeblood of the organization. They write all of our publications, they're all authors, our volunteers. So we started 2 programs. The first is the Diversity and Inclusion Fund. We started out with a $100,000 investment. Any member could apply for it as long as it met the criteria. It's expanded now. I think we have $750,000 in the fund now. We match all of it. If the Computer Society commits $200,000 to it, we're going to commit another $200,000 to the foundation for it. We're looking, this is opening up, I think October 8th for the 24, for the closed 24, so the funds will be available in 25. They're giving out, the smallest one I think is going to be US $20,000 this year. So they're really looking to give money away for members that want to help generate content and put on events. Next slide. The other one is the Emerging Tech Program. The average here is about another $15,000. This TechX program and another TechX at another school in Tunisia received funding for these programs. Something outside the box that you typically don't see. We will fund the TechX program through CSMGA, but because of the location, because of the topic, the executive committee of our board, which is our 3 presidents, which is incoming president, immediate president, past president, secretary, treasurer, decided that these programs in these sort of areas are really important, so they granted the funding for it. Next slide. Just a little bit more about it. So they did revise it, so an allocation of $200,000. In the structure of IEEE, MGA, which I'm in, our technical communities necessarily don't have a bank of money that they can give out to chapters or to sections to put on events. The technical communities, they co-sponsor or they technically sponsor activities. So the Emerging Tech Fund, they allocated $100,000 to for the executive committee to disperse out to our members, leaving another $100,000 for the computer or for MGA and for our TNCs to allocate for programs that were in their space. So if you have an idea, you want to do something at your student branch, you want to put on a program, apply for some of this funding. The minimum is $15,000, so they're giving away a good bit of money. It's a simple application. It's really not that complex as long as they have a detailed budget. Next slide. So if you do have a chapter, we do chapter incentive funding where we give our high-performing chapters a little bit of cash every year for meeting certain criteria, the minimum being the 2 technical meetings you have to have, and then chapter grants. If you're not doing something like a TechX, between $250 and $2,000 to put on an activity. Again, simple application, it's rolling and ongoing. And there's roughly $130,000, $140,000 in this program to recognize and reward our student branch chapters and our professional section chapters. Next slide. So, as you navigate your career, you're going to a lot of obstacles and setbacks, embrace failures, do your stepping stone. Now, I don't know if any of this is true. I do it on most of my talks, but the light bulb, you know, it's never failed. He says he never failed on how to make a light bulb. He just learned how not to make one. So failure was never an option. And then you have WD-40, which is a solution to lubricate things to get them loose. Now, the story that I tell is that they did not, the name came from WD, water displacement, and 40 being the 40th try. So that's how WD-40 is. In your career, like I said, you're going to experience challenges and obstacles. Keep trying, keep pushing forward. IEEE is one of many, many organizations and networks that you can get involved with to help with your career growth. So I encourage you to step forward, use it as a stepping stone, and we're here to help support you in any way you can. Next slide. So that's it. Never lose your passion. That's your why. That's what's keep you going. If you don't like your job, it's the law of 2 feet. Start walking to the next opportunity. And good luck. Next slide. That's it. This is me. You can find me on LinkedIn. Feel free, text me, WhatsApp, or email me at any time. So if you have any questions, I'm around for the next 2 days, and I look forward to interacting with you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Guys, do you have any questions? You feel free to ask now if you want. Please raise your hand. Okay. And we will do the same thing for Mr. Andrew also afterwards.
Thank you for the insightful presentation. I would like to ask you a question about the Emerging Technologies Grant Fund, specifically when we are able to reapply for this year.
It's open and ongoing. It's rolling.
Oh, okay.
The application is currently up. I think there's, for the remainder, the problem is our timing at this point in time. We're going to September, so any funds that we allocate this year have to be spent this year. So if you have an idea that you can do by the end of the year.
Okay, what about the Diversity and Inclusion Grant Fund?
They close that. They open and close that.
Yeah, specifically, which things can apply towards the program?
The ones that I've seen get the most traction are the ones where you're going in and serving an underserved community. So building awareness of computing in a space where students or someone might not have access to it.
So it can be a series of workshops, talks?
It could be a series of workshops, talks. We saw one where they went in and taught kids about internet safety, for example, was a diversity and inclusion. Again, a lot of people see diversity and inclusion where I think we've missed the mark on it, but they're starting to add it is the equity side of things. Everything's not equitable. And there are people that are well-deserving to attend and participate, but can't because they don't have the funds. And that's where I think we play a big role too, is on that equity side.
Okay, much appreciated.
Thank you so much. You can give him the mic. Does anyone else have a question? Please don't be shy, ask your questions. I can see no hands. No.
We're here for the next couple days, so if you do have any questions, find us. I'm on staff. You can get the true volunteer experience from many of these volunteers that have put in their time and energy over the years to help advance the mission of IEEE.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was a very fruitful and insightful experience. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions for Mr. Andrew from IAS? Yes. Okay.
So, Andy, it was a wonderful presentation, and usually in IEEE we don't have any departments, but in IAS we have technical departments. So, does it mean that suppose if I want to organize any event for a particular department in a particular technology, will the IAS be able to support it?
Yeah. So we have, each of our departments has a department chair, who in other societies might be like a VP, but we call them department chairs. And so we have, the ECCE conference is only focused on the IPCSD technical department. In the Process Industries department, Nihad is the chair of our Process Industries department. That department tends to have separate conferences for each of its technical areas. So there's a petrochemical industry conference, there's a cement industry conference, there's a pulp and paper industry conference, there's an electrical safety conference, and each one of them is completely separate. So, and our INCPS, our Industrial and Commercial Power Systems department, they have their own conference too. So some aspects of departments run completely independently from everything else. Others, you might get 2 or 3 meetings where it runs across multiple departments. We do that.
And do you provide the concept of bringing the industry inside the support? Like, I'm not talking about the funding, I'm talking about the technical support from the industry using the conference.
So there's a few different things that we do, different ways of doing that. So if I look at ECCE or APEC, those have, ECCE has a fairly large expo, like 60, 70 companies. If you go to APEC, it's got a massive trade show floor with hundreds and hundreds of industry exhibitors. So we have that kind of activity. We have lots of conference events, a few industry exhibitors, we pay top exhibits and so on. In our annual meeting last year, and actually in quite a few of our more recent conferences, we've really started to develop industry sessions where it's not just technical papers. A lot of industry people can't write a paper because we can't get permission to publish a paper, but we can get permission to do a presentation with some slides. And so we have multiple industry-focused sessions where you're talking about solving the problems of industry, you can come and talk to other people, and it's a best practices sharing kind of process. So we have industry-focused best practices, lessons learned type sessions as well within our conferences. So we do both venues for industry to come in, we have expo type things, and how that works is often a function of where we are and what the industry is. So North America will be heavily focused on conventional industry, but now, again, it's where we kind of relate to other areas. We have a lot of activity in data centers, and we don't work on the network or computing side of data centers, but the power load that's required, how do you make the 99.999% power supply for data centers. It's often that we need the voltage DC. So there's a lot of electrical technical work building data centers. And so we'll work with that. When we go to Taiwan next year, we'll be talking to semiconductor manufacturers, because they're, again, a continuous process industry that must run all the time. A lot of their power supply and reliability and high quality power challenges are the same as you get in other industries, but it's very different in a semiconductor plant than it is in a steel mill. Right? But a lot of their needs are actually similar.
Thank you very much.
Do you have any more questions? Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for being with us. Thank you. Thank you for answering all our questions. You can have the chance to network more and ask all your questions in the networking sessions and coffee breaks. We will have one now, actually. We will be back in 30 minutes for the workshop. Please enjoy the coffee break.